It has long been known that musicians and artists often are struggling to get started, but today, because of technology, there's new opportunities. Find out how as I talk to an international singer, composer, and musical star who is also a star in currencies that are on the digital blockchain, Tatiana Moroz. Today, we're seeing digital currencies really taking off and helping a lot of people, including musicians, artists, and others. And the person that's joining me right now is going to tell us about that. She is a friend of mine, a delightful person who knows this. Her name is Tatiana Moroz, and she joins us right now from her offices up there in New Jersey. Tatiana, good to have you with us today.
Great to be with you. I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite topics, music and Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Two of my favorite topics.
That's right. Either one, you're an expert on both of those. So for those that don't know you, they understand you're an artist. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. So I think that, for me, the main thing as an artist and as a person, my driving factor has been to help humanity. How do I save the world? I was always interested in this, even as a little girl. And when seeing how music can be used as a tool to communicate an idea while engaging somebody emotionally, and how this, can cross over class or color or creed, I thought that, mixing those two together as I got older with my activism was a natural progression. And even though I was a lot more involved in political music previously, I don't really think that the political system will achieve the freedom that I'm looking for. And that's why I was so excited to get involved with cryptocurrency, because I thought it wasn't something where you were asking for permission. You were just kind of taking back the power, using the power of ingenuity among mankind and sort of putting it to work, and now creating something that essentially gives us back the control over our money, which is something that's been robbed for a long time.
I like the way you say that. Now, there's a lot of people that say, I've heard of things like digital currency and the blockchain, Bitcoin, et cetera. I know you've used that, and you also have your own coin, the Tatiana Coin. Tell us a little bit about, for those that don't know what Bitcoin is, blockchain, how that works, and then how the Tatiana Coin relates to that.
Sure. So a lot of people, when they hear about Bitcoin, they get very intimidated. I know that I did when I first heard about Bitcoin. I'm very anti-tech, so I thought it was boring and I glazed over a little bit. But that was a mistake, because once I had it painted for me as a picture in terms of what cryptocurrency could do as a technology to help the world, I became a lot more interested. And as a result, I created a song called the Bitcoin Jingle. It's actually at the end of the week on March 31st, I'm going to be putting out my new album, and the Bitcoin Jingle is on there. It's all fully fleshed out.
That's good. I've heard it. It's very, very good.
Now, the whole point is for it to be catchy. So a nice compliment people pay me is that they can't get it out of their head. So I always like that.
Well, that's true. Gina, my partner, and I go around, we're singing, use Bitcoin whenever you pay, that kind of thing. It gets in there and it just won't go away, which is good.
Yeah, well, that's a sign of a good jingle. But, when I try and explain what Bitcoin is to people, of course, the most common use for Bitcoin is using it as a currency. So just the way that you use, the US dollar or the yen or the euro, these are currencies. Well, Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency. It's a digital currency, but it doesn't have a boss. There's no central bank that's in charge of it. It's not issued by a country. And what that does is that it decentralizes the power. That means that not a person can just decide that they want to have another war and hit the print button, and then all of a sudden there's more money, which actually makes the savings for other people become less valuable. So cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically were created to sort of empower people. And even though one of the features is to send money around, you can also use it to store various informations. So it's not just a currency, it's a protocol. It's a way of organizing information in a very public way where anybody can look and see what it is. When you hear the word blockchain, what they're talking about is that underlying ledger where all the information is stored. So it says, Tatiana sent Terry $200 worth of Bitcoin, and anybody can see that. And it's good because this way you can eliminate fraud. And if it were to be implemented on a wider scale, it would help have accountability, for example, in government where there's less transparency. And then, you know, the most common use, of course, is as money. And the neat thing about Bitcoin is not only that it's money that's not generated by the state, but it's money that travels really, really quickly. So right now, for a very, very small fee, I could send $1 million to Africa, and it would be there within an hour. And it would arrive on somebody's little SMS phone. They don't need to have a bank account. So there's 2 billion people that are underbanked in the world, which means that they don't have access to financial services. So that makes it very difficult for them to dig themselves out of poverty. Now, with the advent of Bitcoin, little mini bank account, and now we're in business, because now they can go out and they can be entrepreneurial and help their family. So I think that it's a revolutionary technology, as big as the internet, if not bigger. I'm sure we won't really get into all of it, but hopefully I've whetted people's appetites a bit about it. And then as far as Tatiana Coin goes, so Tatiana Coin was the first ever artist cryptocurrency. And it's basically a way of fundraising and keeping in contact with my fans and removing the middleman. So right now we're doing a crowdfunding campaign for my album at TatianaCoin.com. And people can go and they can donate, let's say $50. But if somebody donated $50 to a traditional crowdfunding platform like Kickstarter, they would get, you know, an item, a t-shirt, a CD, whatever. Whereas if you donate $50 and you want a fun, flexible prize, you can get Tatiana Coins, and you could spend them whenever you want in my store, and you got $50 worth of Tatiana Coin. Or if you want to send $10 worth to Gina, $10 worth to Tom, $5 worth to Betty, and then keep the rest for yourself, you know, you can do that too. So what it does is it gives the backers a fun and flexible prize that they can resell later if they want, and they can kind of break it up. It's transferable. There's other aspects to the platform involved which allow me to message directly with my fans. It's sort of like a hopped up fan club. So I can give exclusive experiences, ticket sales, online performances, content that's behind, you know, only Tatiana Coin holders can get this type of content. And what's resulted is a platform called Token.fm, which is a streaming platform where we can build our communities and share music with each other without violating copyright, and working toward having not only more transparency, but a better source of income for artists while incentivizing fans to participate as well.
Wow, Tatiana, that is amazing. From the economic model that you've put together, it's a way for you to increase sales of your own album, but also to be able to help people in a tangible way. And so I have seen that, been over to your website, really, really good stuff. Matter of fact, you know what we might do right now is bounce over there just and take a look at your website that people can go over and see. I'm going to share my screen here. And to do that, we can go over here, and I see Tatiana on there. We see your picture. Can you see that on your screen now?
Yep, I can see it.
Yeah, there we are. So we've got the information. And by the way, also, one thing I'm very interested in, you are a speaker as well, a professional speaker. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing with that.
Sure. Well, you know, I didn't used to speak, but when I did Tatiana Coin, people were so interested to find out what exactly it was. So I started doing that more often. And really what I would speak about would not only be Bitcoin as a technology and making it a little bit less scary for people, but about why do we need cryptocurrencies for artists. And as an independent artist, I find that when talking about artists that are signed to a major label and overall people involved in the music industry, when you get signed to a major label, they have a lot of control over what music you're going to put out there because they're making an investment. I understand that. However, it's not good for culture, because then our culture has only one point of view in their music, and their music is, you know, based around party, whatever is the flavor of the day. Whereas you don't really get much pushback. We've been at war for over 17 years now, and I haven't heard many anti-war songs at all on the radio. And I think that that's because the music industry has just become too corporate. And with artist coins, what you can do is you can be raising and connecting directly with your communities. And you're basically providing a voice for the community. So with this new album, I had Ross Ulbricht, you know, he and I are very good friends, and for my birthday, he drew a picture of me. So I used that as an album cover for this record, because I want to underline that artists are not free to speak their mind. I wouldn't be able to put a political prisoner, this contentious issue, right front and center of my art. But I think that that's very important. Art is supposed to kind of drive us. So a lot of times when I go and do speeches, I talk about the importance of freedom of speech within the arts and how it's essential to our society to progress further.
Yeah, very important. Well, of course, you and I both have a strong admiration and respect for Ross Ulbricht and who he is. And for me, it was a high honor in life to be able to go to see him. Actually, went to prison, saw him with you and with his mother, Lynn. And we got a chance to see what an amazing man he is. Just kind, brilliant, with a mind in the stratosphere, off the charts. And he's doing a lot. You're making a big impression with a lot of people, helping in many ways. Let me ask you to get your crystal ball out and rub it really well. Where do you see music going for artists who are trying to get ahead using cryptocurrency for the future? What kind of developments do you think we're going to see, that we're seeing now and into the future as well?
Well, I think that as far as music goes, it's great that we have this do-it-yourself ability now with the internet. You can reach more people from your bedroom than you ever could in a club. But it's also put a lot of the burden of music business onto artists, and I think that that's a little bit challenging because it's just too much, right? So I think that we're going to see a little bit of a balancing where artists are connecting directly to their fans. They can still do it themselves, but they can also have more control over their music and also with the kind of business that they want to conduct. So we can streamline a lot of the processes that were available before and give more options to people so they're not locked into just one model. And I think that having more control in the hands of the artists and the fans is really the direction I'd like to see it go. And that's the direction that I see it going in terms of the technology as well.
Yeah, I think we see that, and we're going to see more and more of that. It's really putting the control into the artists themselves. They don't lose it to the big record company, and they're able to do a lot. Well, people can get in touch with you over at your website. Of course, it's Tatiana Moroz, as we saw there. You can do that. Any other words of advice or recommendations that you would give to people that are watching on how they can get involved with you, how they can get involved with Tatiana Coin, and with other areas that you're involved with?
Well, I have a lot of different projects, and I always love talking with different people. I have the Tatiana Show podcast, which we got to get you scheduled for. And, I'd love it if people checked out my stuff and hopefully they support my music, tell a friend. And if you have any questions, I'm always here. I'm always online.
Yeah, very good. As a matter of fact, I'm going to amplify what you just said there, because for those of you that are watching this and you say, gee, I've got to get started with that, or I'm an artist, I want to get my music out more. Tatiana, I understand you offer that service. You offer coaching and can help people on that. They can get in touch with you, and for a minimal price, they find out the kind of information, kind of get pointed in the right direction. And so how would they get in touch with you to find out about that?
Sure. So they can go to TatianaCoin.com or my website, TatianaMoroz.com. Or they could just drop me an email at info@TatianaMoroz.com or find me on Twitter, Queen Tatiana. And then the Tatiana Show website, we're tweaking it right now. So if people go to the Tatiana Show, hopefully by the time this airs, they'll be able to see something good. If not, it's over on my YouTube, Forevermore Tatiana. So I'm easy to find.
Excellent. Well, you and I have had many good experiences together working. I remember the four of us in the studio there when we did the free Ross-a-thon together. You and Lynn Ulbricht, Ross's mother, and Jim Matt. We got a chance to be together and put out some wonderful things, make a real impact, and raise some money to help there. And you did it. Matter of fact, those of you watching this, I'm going to embarrass her a little bit now. This lady is a consummate professional. She held up there strong. We were going for 8 hours straight on air on Google Hangouts doing that. She was alert, strong, professional all the way through, from the start all the way through, and singing for us and doing that also. Tatiana, on behalf of everyone that's followed you, your fans, we really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for that, and congratulations to you. I mean, you were really doing the heavy lifting. You were wheeling and dealing, bringing everybody on. I mean, we had over 30 guests, I think. So I hope we got a chance to do it again this year, and thank you for your kind words.
Oh, well, glad to do it. And so those of you watching this, get in touch with this lady. She really knows her stuff. She can help you in many ways, not only looking at getting coins, getting involved in that. If you're an artist, real good to get in touch with her. It'd be worth a few coins from you to buy some time from her, sit down, talk with her. She can help you even over tools like Zoom and what we're using here, and Skype, tools like that. She can help you, and that will mean you pay a little bit here and you'll get this much value out of it, because instead instead of you having to make all the mistakes, she can say, oh, don't do this because I tried it, didn't work, but do this because it does work. This will be
there's a lot of nuance with that stuff.
Oh, yeah,
there's a lot of trial and error. Let's put it that way.
And she can sit down and can help you on that specifically. And also you might have you might say, gee, we got a retail store. We've got this kind of thing that we need to do. What do we need to do? It's worth an investment to get in touch with her, and you'll be glad you did it. So Tatiana, thank you very much for joining us today. Really appreciate you being on board.
Thanks very much, Jerry. Happy to be here, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yes, indeed. And for those of you watching, take action on it. You know that things only really happen when you get out there and you take control of what needs to be done. If you get out there, put in the time, the money, and the energy, you can make it happen. I'm Terry Brock with terrybrock.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you a little bit later on down the road.